Hello and welcome to another episode of Midierror Meets, the monthly music podcast. It's not monthly. The music podcast where I speak to all sorts of people who work in the sound of music. On the show this time, episode 41, we've got John Grant on the show. A wonderful man, an incredible talent. He's an amazing singer, songwriter. John was originally in a band called the Czars and in 2010 released his album Queen Of Denamrk to critical acclaim. He's since gone on to release a number of amazing albums on the Bella Union record label and has just released Boy From Michigan, which sounds absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the comments and all the reposts from everybody. I want to say a huge shout out to the people listening in America, in Germany, in Australia, all over the world. It's great to see people tuning in, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as I do. Let's get on with the show though, shall we? And the first question I asked John was about his musical beginnings.
You know, when I think about earliest memories, I think about ABBA and Supertramp and Roger Miller, because my dad had this 8-track tape of Roger Miller, and we also had a bunch of my parents loved to listen to Olivia Newton-John. She had those first couple of records of hers in the 70s, which were quite sort of country a little bit. My mom really loved country. And then my brothers were really into rock music, so Supertramp comes to mind. They were listening to like Van Halen and Kiss and Molly Hatchet and Nazareth and Black Sabbath and all that stuff. I remember listening to this Journey record called Infinity because my brothers had that too. So they had. And there was Beach Boys and Bread. Bread is still one of my favorites. David Gates has such an amazing voice. But I suppose the biggest one for me was like hearing ABBA for the first time, like hearing Eagle, first track off of ABBA, the album.
Mm-hmm.
And also hearing SOS for the first time.
Oh yeah, I love that track.
That's such a killer track.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you mentioned... Go on.
That was like hearing synths too for the first time as well.
Yeah, they were amazing. Like Lay All Your Love on Me, Super Trooper and SOS. Yeah, they have got beautiful synths in them, haven't they? Just wonderful richness.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man. And where were you in the sort of age of the brothers? Which one were you?
I was the youngest. So they were 7 and 9 years older than me. So they were quite far along.
Cool. I think that's a great place to learn to get some musical influence from when you have older brothers.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Sisters.
Totally. Amazing. I agree.
And so, go on.
There was a lot of Pink Floyd too. My brother, the younger of my two older brothers, he really loves Pink Floyd. So there was a lot of that as well.
Excellent, man. And did you pick up instrument? When did you start picking up and playing instruments?
I started getting piano lessons when I was quite young. So I suppose must have been when I was like 6 or 7, 8, when I started getting piano lessons.
And what were they like?
It's hard to remember anything, from that early.
Yeah.
And my mom's gone, so I could ask her. She'd probably remember,
Mm-hmm.
when that all started.
Yeah. And because there's a great quote that you said in an interview about synths. There's nothing you loved more than the sound of synths.
Yeah.
And so when did you play your first synth? Do you remember that?
Well, when I played my first synth, it would have been like 82 or something like that, 81 maybe. I had a Sequential Circuits 6-track.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I sold my saxophone to, because I played saxophone too when I was young, and I sold that saxophone to buy that synth.
That's a
And
good
so
swap.
that was pretty, yeah, it was totally.
Excellent. What can you just what were some of the features of the 6 track? I mean, what could it do?
It had like these six, it had like, I think it had a little bit of a, you could do short sequences on it. So it had like a little bit of a sequencer on it.
Mm-hmm.
Is the trick that it had up its sleeve, but it was quite a short keyboard. You know, it was quite small, but you know, it was sort of what I could afford at the time.
Yeah.
But of course, I would have given anything to have like an Oberheim or a Prophet, you know, the Oberheim XA or an Oberheim 8.
Yeah.
You know those ones with the little blue lines on them?
Yeah. I think with the
Those were,
yeah, they're beautiful. With like
yeah,
the wooden paneled sides and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going into a store and seeing those. But it's hard to remember. The sixth track was I don't know. I remember going into the store because I wanted to learn how to play the synth and learn my way around it. And I went into the store and they were, you know, they're charging you for these synth lessons, you know, and the guy was just like, "So what do you want to know?" And I didn't know. I didn't know, you know. I was expecting him to tell me what I don't know, you know.
Mm.
So the lesson only lasted for a few minutes, you know, and that was it. That was very sort of anticlimactic and quite boring. I was very disappointed in that exchange. But yeah, it had cool sounds, and I remember I used it in school once to give a demonstration. I had to give a speech, and so I gave a demonstration on my synth.
Nice.
And everybody thought it was really cool.
Definitely. The guy who brings the synth in and does the speech from a synth. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And you know, you could layer sounds on it, so you could have, you know, different sequences going. So I think it was quite, you know, quite advanced at the time.
Definitely. A friend of mine does have the 6 track in his rack. I think
Oh, really?
the module version of it. So I've seen it and sort of, but I don't think we ever turned it on because he had so much other stuff that was amazing. Yeah, but I know it's great. And also there was the Prophet 600, which was like quite an early sort of synth, which is also, they're all amazing. All those old beasts, aren't they?
Yeah.
The sequential circuit stuff.
You know what I wish I could have is a Prophet T8.
Okay.
That thing is, it's so incredible. I think you know, it's one of the only other synths that had a polyphonic aftertouch.
I think didn't you take a photograph of yourself with that in your
Yes.
yeah, because
yes.
your hands on
I
it
have to,
on your Twitter account, your old Twitter account saying like, "I'm sorry for posting this pornography" or something like that.
yeah, totally.
What is it about the T8?
It could have been. Benj has one of those down in he has one of those at his place in Cornwall.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just like those beautiful, you know, I love the brass sounds, those creamy brass sounds from Prophet and from Oberheim. So classic.
yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Yeah, you talked about Benji's place being like the happiest time of your life in previous interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was definitely I mean, that was one of the happiest times in my life, you know, beyond, you know, growing up in the 70s in Michigan. You know, just like in modern times, I just felt like a kid again. It was truly special that time.
definitely,
So
definitely.
I would stick with that. Yeah.
I think you said something like you want your sister to go there when you've passed away so she can see what it was like.
Yeah, if you want to see where your brother was truly happy. You know, there's a lot of truth to that. It was pretty incredible.
It does sound idyllic, man. Not only
Yeah.
the synths but the surroundings too.
Oh
Can you
yeah.
describe it a little bit? That like what synths did they have? What sort of took your fancy there that was in his studio?
Well, I mean, he has so much. He has like I mentioned, he has the Prophet T8. He has a lot of the different Korg synths, like or tons of the Roland stuff, like the Roland 2, and he has a System 100, you know, modular, and he has like an ARP, the 2500 modular,
Mm-hmm.
which is absolutely incredible. And he has the Surge modular, and he's got an emu modular.
Nice.
And then he's got I can't remember what that first Moog one was called. It's like the TC3 or something like that. Do you remember what those are called? It was like one of the first Moog modulars. And he met Bob. He has pictures of himself with Bob. Oh, wow. And Bob told him that the cabinets on the one that he has were made from trees in his backyard.
Oh,
those initial ones, because they were some of the first.
That's amazing.
So I always forget. So I'm probably butchering the name of that one, but we used that a lot as well. He's got a CS80 as well from Yamaha, which is just beyond. He's got the EMU synth. The what's that one called? Do you remember?
The emulator?
The emulator.
It's like a big sampler thing.
He's also got Buchla. He's got the Buchla modular, and he's got one of the easels.
Oh, such a beautiful device, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. Super
incredible. And then he's got like a Korg, of course, Korg MS-20. I think he's got an MS-10. And let's see, the Roland 2, the Roland, I think the 3 or 5 that I used on Diet Gum I think it might have been the 3. That one was really cool. I loved playing around with that one.
You also mentioned a love of the Korg Monopoly.
Oh my God. That thing is bonkers.
I have one over there.
and you love it, right?
It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
It's really one of the best ones.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I love that thing. I just got one from I just got a Behringer one. It's in my living room right now.
Nice.
And it sounds really incredible, I have to say.
Yeah, they've done a good job on the replication. But yeah, like the voice sequencing you can do on it, the cross modulation. There's so much stuff to that, and it punches. It's just pure, isn't it?
It punches. Yes. That's the thing. It's so punchy, and it's so industrial. It's a great industrial synth, like for industrial music, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
You can get those really beautiful metallic tones. And of course, in my studio, I have a Moog 1.
Excellent.
Which is, pretty deep and incredible. I have an OB6 and a Prophet 12 and a Korg MS-20.
Excellent.
And an SH-101.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, classic.
Yeah, a beautiful sparkly blue one.
Oh, you got a blue one. Amazing.
Yeah. And I have a mini Moog and and the Juno 106, which is worth its weight in gold, of course.
Yeah.
And I have a Juno 6, and I have an Access Virus 2. Shit. And a Mellotron, and then I have let's see.
Wow,
I have the one of the new ones, the big, the big one. I don't know why it has to be that big, because I don't think there's anything. I think the small one is just fine.
Yeah.
But that thing sounds amazing. It sounds really amazing. And let's see, I have the Matrix Brute from Arturia, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, that's a beast.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm going to be getting the Poly Brute very soon.
Cool. Nice, man. If you look online, I'm the first person who ever posted a Poly Brute video, because I posted an April Fool about 5 years or 4 years before it was released to pretend that the Arturia Mini Brute could become polyphonic. So it's the title of the video is the Arturia Poly Brute about 4 years before it came out.
Oh, holy shit. How cool.
So
I'm going to look that up afterwards.
Yeah, man. It's like me pretending about a feature that's not in a synth just for like April Fool's Day.
Awesome.
Still people ask me about why doesn't it work? Still get comments.